This is Anabel Rossi, and this is the Nerdball podcast.
This is the Nerdball podcast with Lorenzo Melcher.
Awesome. Annabelle, thanks for coming on my podcast.
Of course.
If we haven't seen each other in forever. I think but I coached you in junior high track.
Oh my
And then
gosh, it's been so long.
that was a long time ago. So
So
much work.
long.
Yeah. And then I saw, I was like, in your Instagram profile, it said that you're graduating college in 2024. And I'm like, oh
Yeah,
my gosh, graduating college. We were just at a junior
I
high track
know.
meet.
Literally, it's so crazy
Yeah.
how fast
Yeah.
time has moved.
Oh, for sure. How's everything been going?
Oh my gosh, everything is so great.
Yeah.
I live in Nashville now. I go to school down here.
Okay.
So I've been having the time of my life. I'm studying music business at like the college of my dreams. It's been it's been so crazy. Been given so many great opportunities, and
Awesome.
oh my gosh, I wouldn't change it for anything.
Cool. Well, we'll definitely get into all that. But the first question I always ask people is, what is something you've been really nerding out about lately? Something you're super into, hobby, uh,
Oh my
any
gosh.
cooking, games, video games, movies, TV, something you've been super into, even if you just started it last week or you've been doing it for years. It can't
Yeah.
be related to anything you have to do on a daily basis, like work, or
Okay.
school, like
Okay.
something that gets you. The reason for the question is something that gets you away from that. Like what's something that you can use to just be at peace and something you really love to do.
Yeah. So I have actually really been, this is gonna sound really weird, but so I just recently went to Italy
Oh.
for the second time. And so just like in my dad's side of the family, like we're Italian, like
Mhm.
I went to the city that my family is from. And just like being able to learn more about that, and it's just like about like Italian culture, that's been like really taking over my brain lately.
Yeah.
I've been trying to like just like cook like more authentically, and just I want to learn, like actually learn the language more than just like the little that I know now.
Yeah.
So that I've been definitely nerding out about that, just like immersing myself in as much culture as I can of like my culture.
When was the first time you went to Italy?
I went between my junior and senior of high school.
Okay.
I got to go on this 16-day European tour for a band thing that I got accepted into. We went to 7 different countries. We were gone for 16 days. It was so much fun. But we were only in Italy for like a day.
Okay.
And I had a friend who, one of my best friends from high school, she's studying abroad in Florence right now. And so for spring break, I was like, I'm gonna go. So
Yeah.
so I ended up going. It was a really big thing for me because I don't like to spend a lot of money, so it was a really big thing for me, but I did it, and I was a solo traveler. It was the first time I've ever traveled solo internationally. Um so
It
it
seems
was
so scary to me. I'm almost 40 and I don't like the thought of of doing that.
No, it is scary. It's super scary, but it's the best kind of scary that you'll ever
Yeah.
experience.
Okay.
It was so fun. And like obviously like I had a place to stay. Like I stayed with her
Hmm.
for I was there for 10 days. So like I always like came back to somebody, but like all day, every day, I went to different cities by myself. Like oh God, I don't know. It just everything was so fun.
That's
And
cool.
yeah, but being like if you haven't solo traveled internationally, like you have to.
I don't
It's
know. I
You'll
think
be a new person.
the closest I'll get to solo travel is not solo. It'll just be my wife and I. But even then, like,
Okay, no, that's good too.
yeah, those vacations. We went on a vacation in January to Florida, just me and her. And those, like,
Mm,
I told her, I was like, I want to go to Europe at some point, and it's probably just going to be you and I because it will be older, and at that time maybe our kids will have our kids will have kids and it'll just be more difficult. But
You
yeah, it's
have to.
yeah, I want to at some point. The only thing that I hate doing things when I where I need a passport because I'm
Mm,
terrified that something's going to go wrong. And also I am not a big fan of flying like at all.
mm.
And you got to be on a pretty long flight to go over there.
Oh yeah. No, the flights can be brutal, but pop a melatonin, just fall asleep. You'll be good.
That sounds like yeah.
That's like the international travel hack
Yeah.
for
Well,
sure.
yeah. Well, I'm sure I'll have to do something to help me get over there. You talked about cooking. What do you like to cook?
Oh my gosh. I honestly just anything that I possibly can.
Yeah.
Being a college student, your grocery budget is a little
Not.
small, so you gotta work with what you got. But yeah, but like one of my roommates, like she just like taught me like you can make anything out of like very few ingredients.
Yeah.
She's a whiz in the kitchen. So I don't know. I just look around, see what I have, and just throw anything that I can into a pan. And
See what happens.
sometimes, sometimes it turns out really bad, and sometimes it turns out absolutely amazing. So,
That's how
but
you
yeah,
learn. That's how you learn.
yeah,
Yeah.
I just like to be creative with it. And there's just I don't know, like you can't really go wrong in the kitchen, I feel like.
Yeah. Well, unless you burn it down, then
That is
so.
true. That would be really bad. And I haven't done that.
Oh, there you go.
Thank God.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. My in-laws are or my mother-in-law's Italian and they make their own sauce all the time.
mm.
Is that do you guys do that? Have you guys done that or did you do that growing up?
So so my dad used to, like
Yeah.
when he was little, his grandma taught him how to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And when they passed away, I was pretty young. I It was like before like I could ever like ask questions or anything. So, but my dad, like, unfortunately, just like raising my brother and I, like he never brought that side of him
Yeah.
like out to us.
Yeah.
So we didn't like grow up in any kind of like with our Italian culture. I
Mm-hmm.
think that's why I've also been so inspired to kind of immerse myself in that more, just because like I would like to bring that to my children.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but no, I'm trying to learn how. I'm trying to find a good recipe that I can kind of mock. Because I would like to to do that one day.
The good thing about sauce, making sauce it's not terribly expensive because I mean
Right.
tomatoes aren't crazy, and that's crazy, as far as being priced out. But and that's mostly what it is. I think it's just because there's so many different things, and it's mostly trying to find like what like you can make a sauce and you're like, it's not salty enough, or I think you need some
Yeah,
herbs in it or something, and you just keep experimenting, and then you'll find something you like, or
exactly.
or look online. There was I'm my grandparents are from Mexico, and that was kind of the same thing. The extent of what we had growing up is my mom would cook Mexican food all the time,
Hmm.
but we didn't grow up speaking Spanish. My dad more or less more my dad than my mom, but was like, hey, we're here. I don't want my kids going through what I went through when I was younger. I want to make sure they're, for lack of a
Yeah.
better term, Americanized. So
Yeah.
there was a lot of that stuff. So I get where you're like, hey, I want to, I didn't have that. And I'm not saying it was bad for my parents to do that or bad for your parents to do that, but now
Yeah.
we want to be involved in that. And I think
Yeah,
they
of
they see
course.
that part, right? Like I even told my dad, like, hey, I have tattoos on my arm and I want to get some across my chest. It's a bunch of flowers and I would get some flowers across my chest, but in the colors of the Mexico flag. And my dad's like, I would never like think that to do that because
Yeah.
it stands out too much.
Yeah. No, that's yeah, I wish that obviously I wish that people never had to think that way, but
Yeah, yeah,
it's really sad. But yeah, I think the most important part is that it all comes back to the families eventually,
yeah, yeah.
obviously.
Yep.
So,
Well, that's cool. I like that part of you wanting to get back and see your Italian side and everything. And
hmm
even like I said, the trip sound terrifying, but you had it sounds like you had a great time and you
Oh,
learn a
it was so
lot when you're
fun.
there, right? Yeah. So
Oh yeah.
it was a good use of your time.
Hmm.
So obviously I usually, talk about background and everything, but obviously I met you through Perrysburg. Did you grow up here in Perrysburg your whole life?
No, not my whole life. So I was born in Dayton, Ohio. We lived there until I was about six or seven, and then for my dad's job, we actually ended up moving to Columbus, Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
It's about like 45 minutes south um, of Indianapolis. And then when I was about 10, we moved to Toledo. We moved to Perrysburg. And then my parents have been there since.
Okay.
And then about, I moved to Nashville about 2.5 years ago.
And that was the move right out of high school that's where you
Yeah.
started going to college, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And right as of right now, I do not plan on leaving.
Yeah. Well,
I love
good.
it down
Good.
here.
So I know you were involved in track, obviously, because I was your track coach. But what
Yes.
other things were you involved in? Like, did you play other sports even before high school? Did you play other sports and were you into other things?
Yeah, like at that time I was throwing track, I played softball, I played basketball, I played soccer for a little bit. I was always a really athletic kid. And then in high school I played varsity golf all 4 years.
Yeah.
I played softball for 2 years. Um, yeah, and I attempted to throw track my senior year of high school because I was like, oh, it sounds fun.
Yeah.
And then COVID hit. So
Oh yeah.
never actually got to throw. So
Uh,
we'll never
uh,
know if I was still good. Never know if I still have it.
I think you would have been all right. So I want to talk about these sports real quick. Golf. You played 4 years. Did you play any golf
Hmm.
prior to high school?
No,
No, you just said
I
I'm going to do it.
never. My mom. I would never say that she forced me to play, but
Suggested.
she loves golf. She
Okay.
has always loved golf. And we went out. We On her dad's side of the family, our Christmas gift is like a big vacation house with my brother and my parents, and then my mom's like step siblings and everything. And my parents took me out one day golfing, and they were like, let's just see if you like it, blah blah blah. And this was like 2.5 months before the freshman season started. They were
Okay.
like, oh, let's just see. Um, and I did like okay. It was really frustrating. But I like kept playing before tryouts, and I ended up being put on JV at first. But then I'd say about like halfway through the season, they moved me up to varsity. Um, and yeah, I just kept like I just picked it up really easily. I started
Yeah.
taking swing lessons, and I fell in love with it. I fell in love with the game. I still love playing. It's so much fun for me.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That
so
that's
didn't play that much.
yeah. First should say like yeah, I played 2.5 months before tryouts. That's the first time I played. Like it seems wild to me because golf is so difficult. Like it's a
It's so
difficult thing, right?
difficult.
And then
Oh
for
my
you just be
gosh.
I thought you were gonna say they put me on JV, then after a couple more weeks, then they moved me back down to freshman. But I didn't know you played varsity as a
No,
freshman.
yeah.
That's sweet. That's
I
awesome.
lettered all 4 years, and my junior year we went to states. That was that was the best experience ever. It was so
Yeah.
much fun. Um, yeah, I wouldn't
Did
change it. I love playing.
did your whole team go? I don't know how golf states work. If it's like just like a couple people, or if like a team qualifies, or what.
Yeah, so there's individual qualifications and then there's team qualifications. So my junior year we qualified to go to states as a team.
Okay.
We ended up coming in 10th place out of 12 or 15.
Okay.
Um, and then my senior year of high school, right before COVID hit, um, I qualified to go to districts as like an individual.
Okay.
So, it kind of just depends, but you can either go as a team or as an individual.
Okay. All right. That's yeah, that's awesome. I didn't know that story. That's cool. Um, and then softball. I'm always really intrigued by because I think I remember talking to you because it always seems like the my best throwers in junior high either played baseball or softball, so they didn't do it in high
Mhm.
school or didn't want to do it in high school. And I remember talking to you about that and about you playing softball. How come it was only 2 years? You just were done or
Yeah, I love softball. I play in summer leagues.
okay.
But it was one of those things that I had to choose between golf and softball.
Mm,
Because the swings, like how you swing the bat and then how you
yeah.
swing a golf club, they're so vastly different, yet very similar at the same time that it was affecting both of my swings.
Mm,
Like to like very like you could tell like very it was a very drastic um change
yeah.
that was happening to my golf swing because of my softball swing and then my softball swing because of my golf swing. Um so I just had to choose between I had to choose between the two. It was a really hard decision because I love the game of softball. I think it's so fun. Um, but at that point in my life, golf was more important. Um, and I didn't make the wrong decision. I don't think that I could have made a wrong decision, but I definitely I never regret that decision. But I love to play. I still love playing.
Sure.
Every every once in a while I'll go out and play. I'll join a summer league. Um, yeah.
That and I'm glad you said that too because you can't like you especially being 15, 16 years old and you can't be like, oh, that was a bad decision or that was terrible. That
Yeah.
was the decision that you thought you should make at that time, and at the time it
Right.
was right. And I'm glad that hey, I think it's important that kids in high school sometimes have to make this like tough decisions, and
Yeah.
and I think it was good that you had to go through that as tough as that may be compared to other ones now as an adult, maybe not so much, but at the time it was a huge deal, and you
Yeah.
loved doing both things, and it's good to hear your rationale behind it too, like why you had to do it, and
Yeah.
I was just hoping it wasn't one of those like, well, I didn't like the coach or I thought he didn't play me enough or whatever, like I'm glad it
Yeah.
was something like you control that kind of stuff. So
Yeah, I mean, and it's always a factor into it. Like the seniors that my freshman year and my sophomore year, who I had really good relationships with, they were graduating.
mhm.
Like it like it was just one of those things that like just like all like every circumstance just like brought me away from it.
Yeah.
But like it like my perception of like the program or the game like never changed.
Also, you have to always at the end like, is am I going to have fun? Like, is this fun
Hmm.
anymore? Because if it's not fun, then why am I
Yeah,
going to put this all this work into it when none of it is fun?
exactly.
Yeah, yeah, and not having friends there is a huge portion of that.
Yeah.
So when you're in high school, I don't know when I learned this. You might have graduated already. I saw your drumming videos. And I didn't realize that you were such a good drummer. Like I had no idea. Because I think it was
Oh, that's funny.
I don't remember which song it was, but I remember you drumming along. I'm like, holy shit, she's really good at this. I had no idea.
Yeah, yeah, I started playing when I was in sixth grade. I was a percussionist in like the junior high band, then I played all up until I graduated. And then I taught myself how to play the drum kit
Okay.
when I was in seventh grade, so I was 14 years old. Started taking lessons. I took lessons with this guy named Jordan. He was great. Um, and yeah, it's such a fun, I will say, because like um I am making a career out of the music industry now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't play as much as I used to, just because I'm busy, but it's just like it's such a fun hobby now. I feel
Yeah.
like my mind has shifted so much from, oh, I have to make a career out of this skill, to just like transitioning it into a hobby. Um, has been super fun for me to like navigate, I'd say, but yeah, I love playing. I still love to play. it was so fun to just like I've never really like taught myself anything like that before because I'm a very impatient person. So
Well, let me ask
it's
you a
like,
question. When you uh this is just gonna tell me where you are on the impatient scale. When you buy
okay.
like furniture that you have to put together, a
Oh
new
my
like
gosh.
coffee maker, do you get the instructions out or do you just start doing things?
No, I do not use instructions.
No.
I am not an instruction girly. No, I
Oh,
can't.
my wife is like that too.
I
I
literally,
I
but
need to read every direction.
it's usually so simple. Like I'll reference it like if I'm like, oh, what is this? But like
Yeah, yeah.
it's simple. It's always so simple to just
It
put the
drives me.
things together, to put the screws in the holes, you know?
Yeah, it drives me crazy that like I don't mind. Obviously, I don't mind if my wife's putting furniture together, doing whatever, but I can't help her. Like it's
Mm,
like if she needs me, like she'll call me down and be like, "Hey, can you help me lift this thing or move this or whatever?" I will, but I can't
exactly.
be there step by step because I need the directions, and she throws them away like they're packaging. Like I just,
No, because they are packaging. They are. She's
I'll let her know.
right.
I'll let her know you said that.
Literally
I'll let her
right. Yeah, tell her I said she.
know. All right, so back to your teaching yourself drums here, being impatient.
Yes, I get very impatient. And that was like the first thing that I taught myself
Mm.
and I stuck with it. Like my mind loved it and it it stuck really easily. Um and yeah, and like I don't know, I excelled in it really quickly. I was surrounded by the Perrysburg band department, the program high school to junior high. I was just like I was always surrounded by people to push me.
Mm-hmm.
My band instructors, Mr. Bentley, and Mr. Jordan in the junior high, they were phenomenal teachers. My teachers in high school, Mr. Schluter and Mr. Williams, they were Mr. Schluter is the smartest man I think I've ever met in my life. He's so musically inclined and musically intelligent. I've never seen it in anybody in my entire life. Um, he was such a phenomenal person to and he pushed me really hard. He was the reason that he nominated me to go to Europe for my tour. Um, so the I give all of my credit to the Perrysburg band department, honestly, because
Yeah.
it was such a phenomenal experience for me.
Where did this love of music stem from?
My parents raised my brother and I on everything under the sun.
Yeah.
I am the only musically inclined person out of I would say all of my extended family. I do have a cousin that can play guitar and I cannot
Mhm.
play guitar. But um but like they are my mother is very very musically intelligent. She cannot play an instrument to save her life, but she can hear something and she knows exactly what song it is. Like she knows exactly who performed it, where they performed it, stuff like that.
Mhm.
My dad's dad is also like that. Um he's retired, but he never gives himself a break. He'll like one day
Yeah.
he was like, "Oh, I want to learn how to play the piano." So he went out, bought a Yamaha piano, and literally taught him like he taught himself how to play so so quickly. Um, it amazed me how quickly he did it. But yeah, he is also very musically intelligent. So yeah, it was definitely just
Just all around you all the time.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
always around me. I There was always like growing up, like I just remember always having music playing and like even now, like I always have music playing.
Hmm.
Whether it's in my headphones or just like here at my house. Yeah, it's definitely just like all just stem from my family.
What and these could be two different answers. What's the music you like to play, like with play along with drums, and what's the music you'd like to just listen to?
Playing wise, I definitely love a good pop and rock and roll moment.
Okay.
Um, playing country never really interested me that much just because it's usually it's usually always kind of the same when it comes to the drum tracks and stuff. Listening, oh my gosh, that's a hard question.
I love I love chill hop. I found that a few
Ooh,
years ago. My sister-in-law told me. So I one of my favorite things to listen to, I don't care what time of the year it is. I love the Charlie Brown Christmas album.
oh my God.
It's my
What?
favorite. It is my favorite.
Summer out by the beach, you're listening to Charlie
I
Brown?
just like it. Like it
No.
Vince Giardi trio is the one who did it.
Yeah.
But that's what so then she told me about chill hop, and chill hop is just that it sounds similar just now in 2020s,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just like there's no words. It's just music. I can just listen to it. It just sounds good to me.
Mm-hmm.
But that's my favorite besides the bands I listened to 20 years ago when I was in high school. Me and my friends still listen to those. Well, we went on a
Yes.
trip. We went on a guys trip last year, and our playlist was all music 20 years old, but it was fun. It was good.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. Yeah, I love early 2000s. Um, I guess my favorite, oh man. I'd say probably pop is my favorite to listen to. Um, but I will saying that like since like meeting my roommates, I have been introduced to so much more amazing music. Like I've been introduced to Latin music, like to like Spanish rap. Um, my two of my other roommates, like they listen to a lot of indie music. So like a lot of Phoebe Bridgers, Mackie Rogers. So I will say that I love listening to pop. But I will say that on top of like what my parents have already raised me on, like I've just been hearing like all different kinds of new music. Um, which has been such a gift to me.
Sure. Yeah, it's always good to have a lot of influences and it helps you kind of at some point when you do want to narrow it down, it helps you like it's like, oh, I have all these things, or maybe all these things turn
Yeah,
into something brand new and you make this brand new thing too.
absolutely.
If you had a favorite band or musician, do you have someone in mind?
Of course. Okay. So drummer, I would say Mick Fleetwood. He
Okay.
is beyond talented. The drummer of Fleetwood Mac. Now, my favorite artist, and I literally loved her in junior high. I bet I didn't talk about her as much, but I love Pink.
Okay. Pink's good.
She's
Pink's really good.
she slays for
Yeah.
sure.
I as I got older, my father-in-law really likes Pink too.
Yes, yes,
Yeah. So, but I see a
yes,
lot
he
of
does.
I see a lot of TikToks with her too, and
Mm-hmm.
like my favorite TikToks are the ones where I don't know how you do it or who does it, but where they just take the only thing you can hear. It's like a concert in front of thousands of people, but the
Oh my
only thing you can
gosh.
hear is just the vocals, like nothing
Yeah,
else.
I do like that.
Yeah, no, those are really cool, and she has obviously has a really good voice. She's been singing and doing stuff for a long time, but yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
can agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um.
I love her.
So what? You talked about your dream school, Belmont. Uh,
Yes.
why when you're in high school, why was this what attracted you to this school?
So this is actually a really funny story. Um, so all of my life, not all of my life, but for a very large portion of my high school career, when I figured out that I wanted to do music in some sort of way, I was actually going to go to the University of Cincinnati.
Okay.
My dad went there, and so like we're big. They when my parents were first married, like they lived there for a little bit. So we're Bearcats fans, we're Bengals fans. Go Bearcats, go Bengals. Um, and that is where I wanted to go. Their Conservatory of Music is a phenomenal school.
Mhm.
Had a really good opportunity. I was accepted into the School of Music um for percussion performance. And then I was gonna double major in percussion performance and electronic media. So, and what that was is it's basically like I would be learning how to be a producer,
Okay.
basically. Um and so that is what I was gonna do. That's what I wanted to do. I didn't necessarily like staying in Ohio. I didn't want to stay in Ohio, but I know how good of an opportunity I had, and I was like, I have to take it.
Mm-hmm.
So um so then I would say probably when it was like fall of my senior year, and my and at this point in time, like I had not been accepted into the School of Music at Cincinnati yet.
Okay.
I was still waiting to hear back. It's a huge long process. You send in your auditions, you have an interview if they like your auditions, and then you get accepted from there. So the whole process, I'd say it took about like 6 or 7 months
Oh wow.
for me to hear back, because it's really competitive.
And meanwhile,
um
have you applied to other schools and like even schools where you're like, hey, they don't have a music thing that I want to do?
Yeah, I applied to Cincinnati, I applied to OU, and I applied to, I want to say like Western Kentucky or something.
Okay. Yeah.
But I knew that I didn't want to go any other place,
Yeah.
but it was kind of just like it was, no, I'm sorry, it was the University of Kentucky that I
Okay.
applied to. And but I just wanted I wanted a backup option. They had, I don't even remember what they're called, but they had majors were that I could get into the music industry with, but like it wasn't music specific.
Okay.
Um, so
It wasn't like Cincinnati.
it was just like a backup.
Okay. All right.
Um, yeah, it was just kind of like a little backup. So we so I applied, haven't, we're at the tail end of like the process.
Mm-hmm.
So my fall semester of my senior year of high school, my mom was like, "Hey, like I found this school in Nashville. It's called Belmont, and they have a music business program." And I was like, I was like, "What does music business mean? Like, I don't like what is that? I don't know what that entails."
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, "You could like you're just like you're not a performer, like you're not like you're on like the business side, like you're the manager, you're the agent, you're, blah blah blah." And I was like, "Oh, okay, that could like be kind of cool." But like I was like, "I want to go to Cincinnati." I was but I was still open to it. So we went down, we visited, and for lack of better terms, I completely fell in love. I had been to Nashville once before for music camp, and I did not appreciate it as I should have in that moment
Well, how old
being
were you
down there.
when you went down there for music camp?
I was 16,
Yeah.
15,
Yeah. See that
15 or 16.
that plays into that too.
Um,
Like, yeah.
yeah, I definitely didn't appreciate it as much. So going down when I was almost 19 years old,
Yeah.
you know, I just had like a much better perspective, and it was crunch time too. Like I visited the school and I was like, crap. I was like, this is not good, because I was like,
You thought your decision was made.
I
Yeah.
thought that had it down packed. And actually the ironic thing was I was sitting with my parents, and we have a family friend that lives down here, in this bar in downtown Nashville, and I got my acceptance into Cincinnati in this bar in downtown Nashville right after I toured this school. And I was like, this makes it worse. I was like, now I know that I actually got into everything. And I was like, this is literally crazy. So it was, because decision day is May 1st, I think, something like that.
Mhm.
Um and then so that was in February, right before COVID. Like literally right before COVID.
Mhm.
Um and it was the I will say it, and I have said it, it was the hardest decision that I think I've ever had to make, was choosing between Belmont and Cincinnati, because both places I had phenomenal opportunities,
Hmm.
like which I'm very grateful for. And yeah, it was so difficult, but I love my decision.
Yeah.
I do not regret it at all.
When
Yeah.
you were going through this decision, obviously Cincinnati, um, you could still do what you want to do, but also it sounded like you were going to also play music there too, right?
Yeah,
Uh, is that and was that
yeah.
a possibility at Belmont, or was Belmont just like this is it's not really you're not really playing music in school, you're going to be the major or the business part of it?
No, Belmont, I did get accepted. I did audition for the School of Music, and
Okay.
I did get in. And but that was also kind of the time in my life where because they also have very interesting programs here. They have commercial voice, commercial performance.
Hmm.
So it's not classical performance. Like if I were to have majored in commercial performance, like I would be playing the drum kit instead of playing like a concert snare drum or like the
Okay.
timpani or like a xylophone or something. Um but that was also the time in my life where I was kind of transitioning out of the performance mindset.
Hmm.
Um and you also have to look at it very realistically with a major like that. Is that you like you're just like you're never guaranteed a career
Hmm.
because there's so many amazing musicians, obviously. And I know that in my head I would have been successful, because not being successful in my head is, not an option. Like you have to strive for success, obviously. Um, but I just wanted the more secure route because like in my head, like I want to have a family one day. Like I want to be a mom. Like be I want to have like or I want to be like a stable provider, and the path that I'm on is more secure in that than if I were to do a commercial performance
Well, I
route.
think part of that too is like, I mean, people would tell you. I'm sure people have told you like, well, now's the time to try this stuff. Now's the time to do this stuff. You don't have a family. You don't, But
Yeah,
some people can't see past like, well, I understand that, and you're not wrong, person telling me this, but I know what my ultimate goal is to be a mom, and
exactly.
this helps me achieve that goal by doing this.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, and I love my the education that I'm getting. Every school has its flaws, obviously.
Mhm.
But I'm literally in the heart of Music City. I am meeting amazing people. I'm getting amazing opportunities. I got to go to the Grammys in
Yeah, I was gonna
February.
I was gonna ask you about that. I saw those pictures, and I
I
was like,
did.
wait, she's at the Grammys.
I was, yes.
Start start from the beginning. Like how did that opportunity come about?
Okay. So there's this club. So within I attend the Micro College of Music Business and Entertainment.
Hmm.
That is my college within Belmont. Um and my college has this group called Service Corps. And what Service Corps does is we work we work as many events as we can, volunteer work, but we can work events like the Nashville Film Festival, or we can work events like the Grammys. Um, so, and I was chosen to be on leadership. This is my first year on leadership this past year, and leadership automatically gets to go, and then we 10 we choose 10 people from who are not on leadership to go with us. Um, it was the time of my life. We flew out Friday morning. And it was boom, boom, boom. Like we worked three different red carpets. We I got to meet so many cool people.
When you say
Um,
worked, what would you have to do on the out there?
so for the Grammy specifically, we're talent escorts.
Hmm.
But we're escorting on the carpet.
Okay.
So on all of the major there's three major red carpets. Um, and yeah,
So were you
it
like on
was
TV and stuff? Did people see you on TV?
I was on TV, um, but like, it's one of those things that's like that, that's what the celebrities are there for.
Yeah, yeah.
Like we don't ever do any kind of like interviews or anything like that. But we get to talk to people, we get to meet cool people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a time of my life. And I had never been to LA before that time. So LA was cool to experience that, especially with such a great group of people. Um, yeah, it was so much fun. I
Yeah,
miss it.
I can tell how much fun you're having. I'm looking at it right now. The video that you put on
Oh my gosh.
you singing
Yes.
Flow Rider,
I
you look like you're having the time of your life.
I did get to dance on stage with Flo Rida. That was a highlight,
Sure.
obviously.
Yeah.
Um yeah, it was super cool. He was playing Apple Bottom Jeans and he was like, ladies get up on stage, and
You're like,
you
hey,
know
I'm a
that
lady. I'm getting
you already know that I was the first one up there. Like I had to be.
up.
It had to be me. Um
Oh,
it was so fun. Yeah, Flo Rida was cool. He was nice.
yeah, yeah.
He was a nice guy.
It looks, yeah, like I said, the pictures that you had on there, I mean, the smile you have on your face, and then being able to be there with friends and
Oh my
classmates.
gosh.
Obviously, that makes everything so much better too.
Yeah. Yeah, that group of people that I got to go with, they are amazing human beings. And one thing that Belmont always says is that like you are going to be like after you graduate, like you are going to be always be in contact and work with these people.
Mhm.
So just creating these good relationships um with these amazing people, like yes, it will help me in my career later, but the important thing is that like I'm creating amazing memories with amazing people.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so it was so much fun. I would do it all over again. We will do it all over again, and we'll have just as much fun next year. So I'm so excited.
Do do a bunch of different colleges get to do these things? Like be there too? Like this kind of the same thing that you're doing? Do other colleges get this opportunity?
I don't know, honestly. Maybe.
Okay.
It's so hard, I feel like, because you have the like New York and you have LA, but there's just there's something about Nashville that I don't know, just like if you were to ask somebody who studies music business out in LA or in New York, like maybe,
Yeah.
but I honestly don't know. I met a girl out there that was from, I want to say she was from like Middle Tennessee State University,
Hmm.
but she got the opportunity through like a mentor
Okay.
that she has. So I don't really know if other people get it through their schools or not as well.
Also, Nashville's becoming a hub for people to move to now. Like,
Oh my
uh,
gosh, it's crazy.
within since COVID, it's been Austin is a huge place now for people from LA
Mm.
moving, and now Nashville too. And I've never been to Nashville. I'm not super like if I would go to Nashville, it'd just be to go there because it's Nashville. But like, I'm not super
Mm-hmm.
into music that's why I would want to like go like, oh, let's check out this music place or that music place or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
It sounds like people are just flocking there now.
Yeah, they are. And it's definitely crazy. Just like especially just like house hunting down here.
Yeah.
Like my roommates and I are moving.
Oh
And
no.
I know it's so crazy. Like just just the boom, and like the freshman class at Belmont this year is the biggest class that Belmont has ever had.
Really?
Like so
Wow.
and and Belmont is just growing so much. I feel like, and we also have Vanderbilt down here.
Hmm.
It's a very large college. So I feel like just like with kids like wanting to go to Vanderbilt, wanting to go to Belmont, like that is bringing a lot of people. It's becoming, not that it wasn't safe, but like just like a lot of parts of it are coming a lot more safe than what they used to be. Um, so yeah, I mean, yeah, people are have been flocking here since I moved here, I'd say.
It's all because of
Um,
you. Look at you.
I know they're following me. It's really crazy. I'm like, guys, stop. Like, I'm just a person.
You may have seen me on the red carpet escorting people around.
Maybe.
What's your favorite part about living in Nashville?
Food.
Yeah,
Food.
yeah.
The four of us, my roommates and I, we are all food girlies, and um, we eat so good. Um, and we live in the part of the city that is where like the largest portion of the immigrant population lives. So right,
There's
like
all kinds of stuff.
our big main street out here is just filled with such great, amazing food made by these amazing, authentic hands. And oh my gosh, no, the food is 1000% the best part.
Yeah. Are you working right now? Do you have a job too?
I work at the gym on campus.
Oh, okay. All right.
Um,
Just so a normal
um,
normal college kid's job.
yeah,
Yeah.
exercise is a huge hobby. Wait, I'm a weightlifter, so
Oh,
just
nice.
trying to immerse myself into something that I didn't want to work just like any like restaurant
Yeah.
job or something.
Yeah.
So,
So wait, how long have you been into weightlifting?
I've been weightlifting since my sophomore year of high school.
Okay.
Um, but I didn't start taking it seriously until I'd say until about a year ago.
Mhm.
Um, like prior to that, I would always just like, go, I'd do my cardio and then I was just very uneducated.
Okay.
I would lift for like 20 minutes. I'd hit just like one random muscle group. I'd do my cardio and then I'd be done.
Hmm.
But now, um, I have educated myself a lot more, and I give a lot of credit to my boss. She she's new this year, and she has just been such a healthy and amazing look, especially a female look,
Hmm.
um, and view on weightlifting, which has helped me a lot. So I just started taking it seriously about a year ago, I'd say.
Like powerlifting or just lifting weights in general.
No, not powerlifting.
Okay.
Just regular.
So
I
you're not
wouldn't
gonna go
necessarily.
out there looking like Miss Trunchbull.
Oh my gosh, absolutely not. I would never compete. I never want to compete. That would be too. I love food too much for that.
Well, I think that's a good mindset is like, hey, I like the food, but I'm also understand like I can't just eat and not do anything
Right,
else, right? You know.
right.
Yeah.
So yeah, so never. I would never say like bodybuilding or powerlifting, but just I like feeling strong. I
Hmm.
like to look strong. So um, just trying to keep my body healthy and it's a really good. It's such a good stress relief. Like if I've had a bad day, like you know some people turn to really bad habits, and
Hmm.
I don't want to be like that person again. So yeah, so weightlifting has been such a good just like therapy.
Hmm.
Um, and I like to look good, so
Sure. Yeah.
I like to look good, so
um. Do you think your roommates will listen to this?
probably,
Yeah.
maybe.
Good. Which is your favorite roommate? No, I'm just
Oh
kidding.
my
You
God,
don't have to
don't
answer that.
even.
I'm just kidding. I'm just
No,
kidding.
no, no. I
No, I'm
love
just.
all of them. Oh my gosh, these girls. I could talk about these girls for hours. I love
how
them
how
so
long
much.
how long have you been roommates with them?
So
Or is it just
Um,
like you've been friends with them and this is the first year you guys are living together?
well, okay, so one of them, so it's gonna be kind of hard to explain, but so me and my freshman year roommate,
Okay.
we so that's two, and then our other two roommates, they were freshman year like OG
Okay.
roommates.
Okay.
So sophomore year, Belmont, I don't know how many colleges do this, but we have suites. So like it's like two people in one room, two people in another room, then we all share one bathroom.
Okay.
Um, so my original roommate and I roomed again like sophomore year, and they also roomed together sophomore year, and we were put in the same suite,
Okay.
and we all just clicked like right. I can't say right away, like we didn't click right away, but once we did start clicking, like
Yeah.
we became a family so quickly.
Yeah.
I love them so much. I won the roommate lottery. I wouldn't change them for anything. They're so amazing.
Besides eating, what's something you guys like to do together?
Um,
Because it sounds like you all of you girls like to go out and have a good time.
oh
So
yeah.
I
No,
want to take
we
that out of the equation.
well we're honestly like one thing that I really appreciate about them is that we're not like huge partiers.
Yeah. Okay.
We would so much rather go out and spend $20 on a good meal instead
Yeah.
of, one beer in downtown Nashville. Because that's how expensive things are.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, we love to eat. We love to go like thrifting and like
Okay.
going to we like to go to like the flea market. The Nashville has like a big flea market, I think like the first weekend of every month.
Hmm.
We like going to the farmers market, stuff like that. Just
Okay.
like, you
That
know.
I don't know if it was, and I don't want to insult that tapestry behind you, but that when you said flea market, that's what that reminded me of.
No, this is Amazon.
Oh, okay, okay.
Just
So
Amazon
opposite of flea market,
tapestry.
but okay.
Yeah, very opposite. Yeah. No, just Walmart
All
or
right.
Amazon tapestry.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, Annabelle, I really appreciate you coming on the podcast. It was great to
Of
see you.
course.
It was I'm glad you're doing so well. Like it's really cool. I talked to Miss Durr. I don't know if you had Miss Durr when you were in junior high or not.
Yes.
So she was on my podcast last week, and she made a point. She's like, I like when students I have, I like seeing them, do things that they love to do and be successful out there. And I like seeing that too. Like I like being friends with people like you on Instagram because I get to see, I mean,
Absolutely.
we haven't talked in years, but I get to
I
see what you
know.
guys are doing, and it's really cool. And I'm glad you're loving life. I'm glad you're at the school of your dreams and doing what you want to do because that's all
Thank you.
that's all we as adults want for you, for everyone, is just to be happy and just to be happy doing what
Yes.
you're doing.
Absolutely. And I do this to kind of also pay homage to people like you who have made a great impact. So
Well,
I
thank you.
want I want everyone to know that they have made an impact. So
Yeah. Well, good.
they will
Well,
be successful.
yeah. Thanks again for coming on the podcast.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.